So this is Vladimir Putin's aide looking for age-defying remedies, but it's not really him. Surely it's Vladimir Putin, isn't it? We know he essentially wants to live and govern forever.
Yes, I mean, it's quite extraordinary. There's actually been this sort of diktat that's come out from the Kremlin saying, we want all your research on this subject right now, right away. And so they've gone ahead and they're having to comply, basically. And of course, all the suspicion is that Vladimir Putin is worried about his health. There's all sorts of rumours about his health anyway. All the people around Vladimir Putin are also of a similar age, in their early to mid-70s. So you've got a gerontocracy running Russia, and they've kind of worked out they need to somehow stay in power till their 80s and be sort of physically fit to do it. And this is obviously the solution, isn't it?
A Russian scientist working on new anti-aging treatments. These could include 3D bioprinting, a technology which scientists hope will enable organs and tissue to be printed. That's a keen interest of the health ministry. And I'm reading down into the detail here of a Russian multimillionaire, Dmitry Itskov, who's made efforts towards prolonging the human lifespan. He's funding a project aiming to transfer a human consciousness into a computer, effectively allowing the consciousness to live forever after the human body dies. I mean, that is a frightening thought when you think about Russia, when you think about Vladimir Putin's transfer of power. I mean, it feels absolutely crazy talking about this, but Itskov aims for the first transfer of consciousness to be done by 2035. That is not that far away if they can keep President Putin alive for that long. I mean, could we be looking at something like that?
I mean, it's theoretically possible in the sense of, we know AI is taking us into new directions. There's all
First
sorts
AI
of
president.
Yeah, AI president, exactly. All kinds of medical advances that are going there. But actually, there's been a long history of this in sort of Russia and the Soviet Union. So Vladimir Kavinson, who was a professor into aging, had been Putin's aging guru, but he'd also been, in his earlier life, an aging guru to the elderly Soviet leaders of the early 1980s. And the claims were that they had approached him to try and extend their lives. Now, of course, the tech was different back then, but clearly there's been a long-term interest within Russia in this area. So it's probably no surprise that Mr. Putin has gone, I think I can, kind of resurrect this idea, see what others are doing in this area, and maybe I can indeed live forever.
Do we know what Vladimir Putin does at the moment to try and prolong his life, live the healthiest life he can?
Well, that's the thing, we don't, and that's the interesting part. I mean, we don't know the status of his health. There's been so many rumours over the last few years about he's got cancer, he's got some degenerative disease, etc., etc. All we can go on, though, is what we can see, basically. And he doesn't look, robust. He looks far frailer than even a few years ago. We'll, of course, recall his infamous bare-chested horse riding, sort of exploits, all the rest of that. Those days are long gone. He's not going to be on any, sort of bare-chested moment now. So the reality is he is probably, there must be some concern about his health in some way for him to want to progress this. He will no doubt be on all kinds of health cocktails and other things right now that he will be doing to look at this. And if you recall, he's always been very paranoid about his health. You'll remember during the COVID time, you had these ridiculous meetings where Putin was sat at one end of a extremely long table and anyone meeting him was at the other, and it was literally 20 meters away. So he's always had a paranoia about his health as well. So it's been a subject that he's concerned about. And as you pointed out earlier, he's already outlived the typical Russian male.
Yeah, so he's already doing well. And it went long beyond COVID, didn't it? This sort of sitting at opposite ends of a very long table. Isn't he said to take regular baths in an extract made from the blood of the severed antlers of a Siberian red deer? Is that? I don't know if you've heard about that.
I've heard that one, but it would certainly be within the realms of possibility from what we understand about his sort of interest in anything and everything that could perhaps extend his life. So I haven't personally seen that one, but it wouldn't be uncommon, and it's not something that although we find it sort of eyebrow raising. I've actually heard of similar treatments from the East in other cases, so it wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility that he was indeed doing this.
So bathers believe that the extract has rejuvenating powers and could perform wonders for male potency. Not sure if that's also top of the agenda for Vladimir Putin or not.
Well, when he's got a very young girlfriend, it might well be.
How old is his girlfriend?
I believe she's 41, so 30 years his junior.
Right. Is this Valentina Matviyenko? Head of Russia's. Oh no, hang on, no, it isn't.
It's his
Alina
gymnast.
Kabeva. Yes,
there we go.
okay.
Exactly. Yes.
So he's got.
So that's the, again, that's the rumor. But again, he keeps all these things very much under wraps.
So she's rumored to take rejuvenating drugs. Kabeva, Alina Kabeva,
Yes.
who is his lover. So we can see a theme arising here. I mean, in all seriousness, we've seen Joe Biden, haven't we? I mean, we're sort of laughing at Putin, but we've seen Joe Biden really hold a term of his administration when he's not been in the best health. Of course, we've not had anything confirmed, but we do know that he is, an older man, struggles with recall, has good days and bad days. That was incredibly clear. That is, why he's... why we can interpret that he's stepped away from the race for the president once again and handed the reins over to Kamala Harris. What can you envisage happening in Russia? The thing is, Putin can sort of change the constitution to be anything he wants. He's already done so that he can stay in power for multiple terms. How far can he stretch this? If he's there's always been rumours that he's got Parkinson's. If he's found to have Parkinson's, can he come up with a way of remaining in charge of Russia in all legitimacy if his condition gets significantly worse?
He has no legitimacy now. Let's not pretend
That's true.
He's president in that kind of way. So it's not a legitimacy question ever with him. It's can he literally force his way through the system? And as long as he can do that, he can have Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, whatever. It won't matter from the sense of Russia will bend to his will. And that, of course, is not just him. There's a whole security apparatus around him, intelligence apparatus around him, that, is supportive of that. So you would have to see that crack before he is removed in some way. And currently he can stay in power till 2036. That's 12 more years, obviously, in that. And were he to still be around and, and sort of competent vaguely at that point, there's no doubt he'll probably try again. The big question in those cases is always not so much what he might want, but for how long can he extend his power with those around him going along with it? And that's the question that will always be determining the length of his tenure there.